That's your good energy for the days to use it. I Grand Rising. It's about 8 o'clock. I fasted yesterday. I went about 39 hours. I just broke it with some watermelon and passion fruit. And it has some echinacea and red raspberry leaf tea. I am a tea fiend. So, it's usually a lot easier for me to channel and communicate messages when I've been fasting because I'm kind of empty inside and I'm more up here, you know? I have a clear mind, I have a clear vessel. And one thing that I wanted to talk about is nothing is easy and nothing is hard. But I'm going to be using these labels for this video just for certain people to comprehend and go along with what I'm saying. So what I want to talk about is things don't have to be hard. Nothing in life is hard. We choose to see all of our lessons, relationships, financial issues, body image issues, parents' issues, childhood issues. We choose to see those as negative situations. We choose to see them as, why did this happen to me? I don't deserve this. We choose to make the lesson harder than what it is. Source is always trying to teach us something, always trying to show us something. And it's always in a divine way. It's always exactly the way it needs to be. But it's us. It's the physical body, along with the mental programming, that puts up so much resistance to all of our lessons. Everything in this 3D is lesson. Everything in this 3D is duality. But the more that we begin to prioritize our spiritual practice, prioritize opening our mind, opening our eyes, waking up, we'll step out of that duality and we'll step into the true understanding and oneness of all. We'll see that nothing is good or bad. Nothing is easy or hard. Things just are. They're exactly the way that they need to be. And when we really start walking in that, when we really start seeing that, when we really start speaking that, shit will change. Everything will change. You will begin to elevate every single day. You'll begin to see everything for exactly what it is. Shit will become so divine in its perfect way, you know? Personally speaking, my biggest lesson and my biggest trauma happened to me about a year ago, and I was so hard-headed. I made that so much harder than when it had to be. The more that I didn't allow myself to learn that lesson, the harder it got. In the beginning, it was an emotional lesson. I didn't want to accept it. I put resistance. Then it became a mental lesson. I was like, all right, I see that. Didn't want to accept it. More resistance. Then it became a physical lesson to the point of my physical body was trying to show me the lesson, trying to tell me something. And that's when I had to really step back and be like, wow, I feel like I'm dying right now. I look like I'm dying right now. All because I wanted to be hard-headed. I wanted to make this as hard as possible for myself. And when you do that, wherever there's an action, there's going to be a reaction. As above, so below. It's always going to pop out somewhere else, and it's going to be for you. And it could be for someone else, you never know. But trust yourself. Shit's easy out here. All of these things happening with the Amazon on fire, the John Epstein, whatever the fuck his name was, his little sex cult. Like, I totally understand how all of those things can be seen as bad, you know? Like, wow, we live in such a horrible world, we're in such a bad time, this and that. But ultimately, shit is exactly the way that it needs to be. And it'll always be that way. The more that we choose not to label situations as good or bad, the more things will just flow through and come back into a state of alignment and balance. The more that we choose to live in duality of the labeling, the more separate the world will be. The more polar opposites of good and bad will actually exist, and they will manifest, especially for you, the one believing in duality, the one speaking duality, the one mentally choosing to live in duality. Duality is all in 3D. The more your mental shifts to 4D and 5D, you step into understanding of unity, of oneness, of just being. Things just are. And that is such a powerful way of living. You flow through life. You have such a clear mind, clear heart, open understanding of all things. Your relationships become reflections. They become a lot easier. It's easier to accept and to be loved. It's easier to communicate, to feel your emotions, to speak your emotions, to make money, to attract opportunity, to love yourself, to see your true self. So next time anything happens to you, you get a flat tire, you lose your job, you fight with your boyfriend, your parents are narcissistic as fuck, your childhood trauma triggers come up, don't look at it as good or bad. That shit just is. All you need to ask yourself is, what is this teaching me? What is this trying to show me? And then from there, whatever answer you get, you make a move based on that. You feel based on that. Don't overthink it, feel it. What is this trying to teach me? How do I feel right now? What is this feeling trying to teach me? And always, always look back into your childhood. Don't run from what happened in your childhood. Because what happened in your childhood is why you are the way that you are today. The more that I do this type of work on myself and with others, the more I'm like, God damn. We are literally all out here. I don't know about the whole world, but America, we are all out here living out our childhood traumas. Our personalities were built on our childhood traumas. The reason why we act the way that we act, do the things that we do, speak the way we speak, have the relationships that we do, like everything is based on our childhood traumas. Your subconscious mind is formed from years 1 to 7. So that's pretty much your childhood. That's when you don't know anything more than your family. Your subconscious mind is 95% of how we act out today. Only 5% of our conscious mind is who we are. So the more that you understand that you need to be aware of what you went through in your childhood, you need to give forgiveness to it, acceptance to it, and understand what happened, what it was trying to teach you, and why. When you get those core understandings, this physical that you are now begins to shift. Your mental begins to shift. Your actions begin to shift. You begin to evolve. You begin to grow. You begin to blossom into a divine being. You don't have all of these traumatic personality traits, you know? People are out here calling their traumas a personality trait or calling it a part of them. You are not your traumas. And it took me really realizing this, doing work with my mom, helping her tap into her shadow. She's been afraid to look inside and see who she was because she didn't want to acknowledge her traumas. If you don't want to acknowledge your traumas, you don't want to acknowledge yourself. You don't know your true self. How does that feel? You're doing a disservice to yourself and the world because you're out here projecting all your shit on everyone and everything. And you're completely mindless of it. So, that's 2 things, I think. Don't label things. Nothing is good or bad, it just is. And be aware, accept, and shift from your childhood traumas. You are not your traumas. I think that's pretty much it. Every time I fast and I wake up the next day, like still fasting, I'm like so shaky. I don't know if you can like see my hand shaking. It's not that bad because I ate a little bit, but I get so shaky and I feel so sick. But I'm like, I feel so good at the same time because fasting is just, that's where it's at, yo. My mind gets so clear. I feel so powerful. I feel like a fucking god when I fast. And I have some seeded watermelon, bitch. Juicy. Well, that's my video for the day. I'm gonna get back on here more often. I'm leaving to go to Colombia October 2nd. So I'll definitely post this before I leave. And I think I'm going there to do a ceremony. I'm going to do plant medicine. And it's definitely going to be transformational. And when I get back, I'm going to get back on prioritizing this channel and just speaking from my heart, you know. Sometimes I doubt myself speaking. I don't, I'll hold back because I'm like, what if I'm wrong? Like, my shadow, I came to a realization about this is, I would have, like, fear in being wrong or fear in speaking out and it being wrong. But ultimately, that's just a limitation of the mind, an illusion of the mind. Me holding myself back from being my greatest self because I have so much to share. And I acknowledge that and I need to validate it more. I just need to step out of that childhood belief, you know, that childhood negative self-talk that no longer serves who the fuck I am today. But it is what it is. We're out here learning, growing, ascending. So have a beautiful, blessed day. Thank you for watching my video. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell me how you feel. Tell me, you don't have to share with me your childhood traumas or whatever, but tell me maybe what you've been resisting or labeling as good or bad. And follow my Instagram, SGITT_. I'm making this so long right now. Oh, bye-bye.